Hey, great to have you here. So once again, back with another One Piece card game video. Working our way down, we're at starter deck 17 now. So this is the one that probably most people really picked up to want to actually play with, because it seems like straight out of the box, from what I've heard, this deck is really the one from the new starter decks that you could win with, especially maybe if you buy two or you use some other cards. I think like Jinbei, maybe one from another booster box that is viable in this deck. So as usual, we'll put the PRB pack aside and we'll take a look at this leader pack specifically. So let's jump right in. Is this one that you guys picked up? Would love to see your feedback down below. It feels like I've debated switching over to something Doflamingo, and this feels like, from what I've heard, is really viable as far as inclusions here. And I can't get this open at all. But yeah, I've heard of the starter decks, this is the one you want to buy if you want to actually, from out of the box, get a lot of good value. And I think the tournaments that had a lot of starter deck, like you have to play with a starter deck in it, this seemed to be the best one. I can't get this open. These are like glued down. We may be cutting this, not literally, because I need scissors to cut this. I don't know, like who fastened this thing?
One eternity later.
There we go. Okay. All right. We'll see if we keep all that in there, but finally got this pack open. Maybe it being the hardest to open thus far indicates the quality of the deck is going to be tough to compete against. So we got Doflamingo. When attacking, you can give it 2 Don, then you rest a Don. So you're pretty much spending 3. Then you reveal 1 card from the top of your deck. If the card's a 7 Warlords with a character card with a cost of 4 less, you may play it rested. So does that kind of add characters immediately? And you probably have cards in this deck, I imagine, that you can look at the top card in your deck and you're gonna place something at the top that's gonna make this ultimately work. Let's take a look and see if that winds up being the case. But this blue in general likes to put cards on certain places of your deck, it seems like, so they want to have a lot of cards in hand. So I expect to see a lot of that here. All right, Law. On play, you may return one of your characters to the owner's hand. If your leader has 7 Warlords type, return up to 1 character with cost of 4 less to the owner's hand. You pull something back, you make them push something back too. So it's very effective as a, hey, send something back. So it kind of slows down their attacking. That's definitely something you want to use on characters that aren't on play effects too, because they would give them the on play again. Then we have the Boa, 4 cost, 6k blocker. On play, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, place them in the top or bottom in any order, then give up to 1 rested Don of your 7 Warlords type leader characters. Give to 1 rested Don. Okay. So I see already the combination here. You would play this character, look at the 3, rotate them so you'd put some character that qualified for your leader ability, and then you could even give one of the rested Don to your leader, so then he only needs 1 more to ultimately use his power. So I definitely see the value there in using that ability. Okay, Crocodile. Reveal 1 card from the top of your deck. If that is a 7 Warlords type, draw 2 cards and place 1 from your hand at the top of your deck. Okay, so you reveal 1. If it's a Warlords type, draw 2 cards, place 1 card from your hand. So you're going to do this, so then you're going to put something that the leader, once again, would meet the qualifications for. So it's a lot of making sure your top card is able to be played. So I already see kind of the synergies we have here. On play, get 3 cards from the top of your deck and place them at the top of your deck. Okay. So you're looking at 3 and you're putting them in any order. So yeah, this deck really relies on just reordering your deck, so you're getting the cards that you want so that the leader ability will always pretty much take effect. Then 2 cost, 3k power. You might place 1 card from your hand at the top of your deck. Okay, yep, we're doing this again. Give up to 2 rested Don cards to your leader. That works right away. You play this, you activate it, you place 1 card that meets the qualifications at the top, you give the 2 Don to your leader, and then you just rest another Don, and you get to use the ability to play it pretty much for a cheaper cost. So really effective there. Then we have a 3 cost, 4k blocker. On play, look at 5 cards, place them top or bottom in any order. So this is really getting through your deck and making sure, once again, you have it correctly. And all right, we have an event now, Overheat. I'm familiar with this one from Nami. Up to 1 leader character's gains plus 4,000 power, then return to 1 active character to the owner's hand. Ooh, 3, that's really effective, especially if you're trying to bounce something from their side that's not an on play too. I always thought kind of the value was your own cards from Nami's perspective. All right, 4 cost, 6k power, pretty vanilla card. Then 3 cost, 3,000 power. Look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1, and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the top or bottom. Okay, so it's kind of a searcher-ish. Kind of a weak searcher. Vanilla 3, cost 5k. I've seen this one played a lot. Add up to 1 7 Warlords of the Sea or Thriller Bark Pirates type character with a cost of 4 or less other than Gecko Moria from your trash to your hand. Got it. So we're bringing back something that got killed and able to play it again, so maybe use another on-play ability. So I'm seeing the recycling of options with that. Draw 2 cards, trash 2 cards from your hand, you give them a Don when attacking. So once again, just shuffling through your deck. Blocker, 1 cost, 1k, okay, that's pretty standard. Then we got Jinbei on KO, place up to 1 character with a cost of 3 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. So not the strongest, but if you're playing somebody like I like to play with Zoro with low cost characters, you kill this guy and he can bottom deck one of your characters. So that can come in handy maybe. And that's it. So it definitely feels like there's some viability already within this deck as far as top decking cards that then Doflamingo can play for free, or not free, but he's using 2 Don and attacking and then resting a Don and being able to play that card right away rested. I think if you add some of the staples from blue, as I mentioned, I think the other Jinbei, who is frequently used, would make sense in this deck because he's an on-play that I think also plays other cards. So I think blue, this is probably, from what I've seen so far, the strongest ability, just as far as the synergies that come right out of the box. Probably wouldn't play a lot of these cards by themselves necessarily, but with this leader specifically, I think it works as far as trying to put cards where you want them and ultimately drawing it and playing it for a lower cost. So it's a lot of card pulling and getting your hand to be large size as well. So I think this one overall is pretty viable. Definitely if you add some buffs to it. And I've seen this guy played frequently at tournaments, so I expect that to probably continue and people to really buff up their Doflamingo deck with other blue cards that are already out today. So what are your thoughts on this leader? Are you a fan of it? You're not a fan of getting against it? What are your thoughts overall? I appreciate you guys so much for watching and I hope to talk to you again soon.